Hello, my name is Terry Muller. I'm from Muller's Paint and Paper, and I come to you today with one of our Terry's Tips series. And today we're going to be talking about Let It Dry, the paint tray. We sell a lot of liners in the industry. A lot of you homeowners, in fact most of you, use the little plastic 69-cent tray liners. Fit right in the nice metal tray. And it keeps that tray nice and clean. And what we're trying to encourage are helpful tips, hints in our industry to save you time and money, particularly money in the market that we're in. We're here to build loyal customers, and we want to teach our homeowners, our contractors, how they might trim a corner, not use a tray liner. We're here to sell. We're in the business of retail paint sales, wholesale paint sales, but I encourage us to maybe think twice about whether we need this paint tray. Paint trays, disposable liners I should say, are anywhere from this black 69-cent traditional for a 9-inch roller cover to the little minis to the jumbo contractor size. Same thing, disposable liners, holds a gallon of paint. Some homeowners like these big trays that hold a gallon of paint also once they use it, because these little ones only hold a couple of quarts, so that's one reason you go to the larger one. But today we want to talk to you about the theory of letting that paint dry in my roller pan when I'm done until I need that tray the next job. So as I bring this to you, I'd like to say a couple of other related thoughts. As you get your roller pan out, you open up your paint, ready to start the project. We've got our room temperature cool. That really aids in the paint staying wet while I'm trying to apply it. I'm going to get my roller pan out. This, you notice, has been brown. It's off-white. It's got some historical gold on it. This tray, compared to a new one, probably is maybe 4 times its weight. Less flyaway because I've got paint inside. I've just let the paint become my disposable tray liner with no extra cost. So this one's brown. The last time we used it, I'm going to snap a very nice little handy flip paint pour spout onto my gallon, probably under $1 at most paint shops. I'm going to flip it right around, and I'm going to use this to pour today's color that I'm going to be using for my daughter's bedroom. This nice lovely pink, getting that little room ready. She's changing from the little nursery to an adult room, and she still likes that pink color. So I'm pouring that pink paint into my brown roller pan that had the last time I used it for an exterior project. No worry, this paint now becomes my tray liner, like I said. To keep the paint roller and paint wet in my tray while I'm rolling, or while I'm actually brushing my trim edges in, I'll take a piece of cardboard. This is poster board. I take a little X-Acto knife. I notch it out. And folks, if you've noticed, these roller frames have these little notches in them, built right into all your frames, whether it's a consumer frame or a contractor frame. And what is that for? Well, that's designed to not roll all the way into my paint and submerge and get way too much paint on my roller cover. But I want to keep that paint wet. I got my room cool, but I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to take this cardboard, I'm going to cut it just a little bit oversized to my paint tray, whether it's a consumer size, a couple of quarter, or it's a big gallon tray. I'm going to notch that out, and that now is my lid, folks, for my paint tray. My paint's ready, it's in there, but now I've got to trim my room in. Kind of forgot to do that. I'm excited, I'm ready to paint, and oh, I didn't trim the wall in or trim the ceiling line in, and I already poured my paint. It's going to dry. This gives me a nice option, gives me a little slack. I can maybe have a cup of coffee if I kind of get a little tired on the job, or if I want to maybe have a little lunch break, or go do something with the family for a minute, get a phone call. If I've got this covered, that paint's going to stay nice and wet. What I do with my brush while I'm rolling is I take a paint rag, just a cotton lint-free t-shirt material, sold mostly in pound or 5-pound boxes at the paint stores, and I wet it, and I take my brush loaded with paint and I wrap it, and I just set it on my workstation while I've got my roller in tow and I'm rolling my walls. This keeps this brush nice and wet. Doesn't need to be cleaned out between use, and I might paint 2-3 hours. And while I'm rolling, I've got that brush nice and keeping it nice and wet, full of paint, wrapped in a wet paint rag. So, just a little side note. But now, when I'm done painting for the day, I want to clean my roller. I set that off to the side on my lid, on my cover for my tray. I pour that back into my paint can, what I didn't use. Pour that right back in. Can you see that? Right back into that can. I'm going to seal that top of that gallon up, and I'm going to store that gallon for tomorrow's second coat on its lid. Or if I'm really done with the project and I have a little leftover paint, I really may need it for touch-ups. I'm going to seal that can up. Get a little paper towel here. I'm going to take this flip spot out, which really eliminates most all your paint that goes into the lip of the can. I'm going to seal my gallon, and I'm going to store it on its top. Why on its top? Well, air will infiltrate this can, and the next time I go to use it for that touch-up a few years down the road, the paint's dry in the can. Air, even though I sealed it up pretty good, still sifted in there. Well, if I clean up around the lip, flip it on its top, that's an airtight seal. The paint, whether it's just a little bit in that gallon or quite a bit in that gallon, or quart size or pint size, whatever can you're using, if you flip that can over, drywall compounds, putties, paints, flip them on their top until they're used the next time, and they are just nice and wet and ready to go. I might add that you do need to, when you flip it over to use it, if there's any settling, it's going to be on my lid, so I might want to shake it a little bit, bring it into the paint store, and have the guys whip it up on a shaker, get that sludge off the top, which used to be on the bottom of the can, but I've stored it upside down. So when you open it, that's what you're seeing. You need to scrape the goodies back into the can, stir it up, or have the paint store shake it at no cost for you. Back to my roller tray. I'm not using a liner, but if I just wash this out, these metal inexpensive trays are nice, and I really want to wash it and clean it all out. It'll be rusty the next time I go to use it. That's why I come to the paint store and buy the little 69-cent tray liner. But I'm here to say and to suggest, after I've poured my excess paint, hopefully I poured enough out of this one, I just take my brush and I coat the whole inside of that tray. And now I've got a pink tray, and I let it dry to the next time I need it. The paint's the paint tray liner, no cost, ready to go, and it won't rust. So let the paint dry in your tray. Whether you're using a nice, convenient, contemporary cut-in cup, this one here, blue, tan, maybe that same brown. I don't use liners, even though we sell a nice liner for this, very inexpensive. The only time you might consider still the liners, if you're into buying new things for each job, great, but you might be switching colors. Now I need to paint blue or a nice taupe color this afternoon. Well, then maybe and you don't have water on the job or thinner for oil-based paints. Maybe you will need a liner there and the convenience of switching colors the same day. But if it's going to be tomorrow, before you use that next paint color, before you do that next job, let that paint dry right in the tray. They get better with age. No rust. Here's a nice green. Here's a nice blue. Many different colors underneath these. Nice and heavy. They're not going to be so fly away. A little less chance of tipping. And this is now my tray liner, the paint. Plastic trays, little minis, same thing. Never washed out, never a liner needed to be purchased. Disposable little paint cup typically. They get better with age. Brush stands right in here. This has had many different colors. Same cut-in cup. Same tray that I've purchased. I bought it one time. Eliminate the extra cost of the tray liners. Brush the paint from your paint job. around the excess around the tray, let it dry, it's good to go for the next paint job. Thank you, and I hope this has been informative to you. And if you'd like to read about this particular Terry's tip, go to caledoniacable.org and visit the website, read the informative class today, Terry's Tips, Let the Paint Dry, Eliminate the costly purchase of the tray liners, no rust, let the paint dry in the tray. Thank you.